a team where I started my professional career, where I made that first step in following my dream that I had as a kid. So in that sense, it is special, and it's pretty cool. But I've played on a few teams now. It's not like I was a childhood supporter of TFC. They weren't even around when I was a kid growing up. But ultimately, it's just a big game. It's something exciting for our club, and hopefully everyone in the locker room is buzzing for it.
Besides the personal thing, there's a geographic thing, as I was pointing to Jordan, that they're actually physically the closest team to you. York's a little farther away. And would you like to play them more just for the whole geographic thing, Toronto, Hamilton thing, QEW, whatever you want to call that, 403 rivalry?
Well, I think ultimately it adds a special layer to it in the sense that they're a club that has notoriety, they've had success, and with that they have a following, and their fans they're passionate, they come out and support them, and the close nature of this game means that we might have traveling fans, which is something we don't necessarily see week in and week out in the CPL given the distance, which adds that extra layer to it. And then you have a cup game midweek under the lights. It is special. So if there is that away section, it just adds that extra little bit of buzz to the atmosphere coming into the stadium, which is fantastic.
You will probably won't see this because you don't want to put a bulletin board material, but I'll say it. You should have won the game you played against them here. Is that game you played in it and it was heartbreaking? Could have been a championship. They didn't have as much to play for because they'd already had the nugget of playing in the Champions Cup or Champions League. Is that still a factor? It was less than 2 years ago.
I think ultimately it just provides proof of concept. I think it should give guys a ton of confidence, and any of these games that we played in, be it Champions League, games against Montreal in the past, TFC in the past, whatever it is, it's the fact that we have the ability, we deserve to be on this stage and go out and showcase what we're all about. So I think it's just confidence at the end of the day to go out and go be brave and dare to do it.
How much it's not just the one game, the fact you eliminated Montreal, but you didn't lose to them in either game.
Yeah, I think.
How much does that have to do with momentum, or that kind of momentum?
Yeah, I think ultimately the way in which we did it, I think the first leg was great. We were on the front foot, we played at home, we showcased what we're all about. Ultimately, we didn't take our chances in that first leg, and we kind of got bit when they scored, and you come off that 90 minutes and you feel a little hard done by, but you ultimately know there's something to play for here. And then I think in the second leg, there's beauty in which we did it. It was a tale of two halves. We went out, we were on the front foot in the first half, we went up, and then it was just a matter of digging deep, fighting for the guy next to you and getting that result, which was huge. And that's something we don't necessarily see ourselves do week in and week out in the league. Just the nature of how it's been, we're usually protagonists, we're on the front foot, we're controlling the game. So to just kind of sit in, defend, leave everything on the line and put a major effort in like that and get a result is huge. So I think we have to take both of those things that we did well in over those 2 legs and bring it into this, because it's going to be a hard-fought 2 legs.
The delay and the way it went changed the way that game was played for sure, and you might see some rain tomorrow. Yeah, I mean that might be helpful or not.
I don't know. I think ultimately no one wants to see a delay. I think it takes a little bit of sting out of the game, so hopefully the weather can stay off, but it's always nice to play on a wet night.
I'll ask you what I asked Jordan. One of the media type things we look at in storylines is the salary disparity of they've got to be at least 10 or 12 times the total cap. They've got three guys making more than your whole team added up, and a lot of guys close to that. Is that anything in a player's mind?
I don't know. I think it really just comes out to the individual. I think it might play a bigger role in certain guys' heads than others. For me, ultimately, it's 90 minutes to go out and play against different competition. This is what I dreamed about as a kid. You want to play in the biggest games. You want to play in the games that give you a chance to play for a trophy. And that's all I'm thinking about at the end of the day.
Okay. And they've been struggling, but result-wise, you've had, in your own league, not normally what you might be at this point, and I know you're disappointed in some of that. Can you separate that, like into this competition, this game? How does that?
Yeah, ultimately, you could say we haven't been in our best form, but we scored 6 goals in 2 games, right. And we got to take that going into this. But we also have to be aware that we've given up 7 in 2 games, and that's not good enough. You can't go on the road, score 3 goals, and come away with nothing. So we know we need to tighten that up, and we know going into games like this with the quality of the players we have on the other side, it's going to come down to those details. And we've seen it time and time again in the competitions like this that we've played in. So we need to give them nothing on the defensive side, and we need to be clinical on the offense if we're going to give ourselves a chance.
Can that goal, that last goal in Vancouver, have a teaching effect within the room because of that? Because, I mean, was it just a slight lapse for a split second, and all of a sudden you dropped your points there? So.
Yeah, it was naive at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And when you're playing sports at the highest level, whatever league it is, if you don't take care of the details, if you become lackadaisical towards the end of the game, you're going to get punished. And I think we found out the hard way that no matter who we're playing, it's capable of happening to us. So we need to understand it, we need to digest it, we need to learn from it.
Where does this game rank importance-wise in terms of games played in this franchise history? There have been a lot of important games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's another brick in the foundation of this club, but ultimately it is a big one. Obviously, if it goes well, it's going to be a huge one, and it'll be one to be remembered. But ultimately, we just have to take it 45 minutes at a time.
It'll be announced by the time I do anything with this. What's it feel like to have CC back?
It's great. I think I don't know if anyone was around on his arrival, but the second he came in the locker room and guys who played with him before, he just lights up a room, smiles on everyone's faces. So it's definitely a welcome addition.